Welcome to the Lights, Camera, Rant podcast. Your source for the latest on movies, TV shows, and video games. Get ready for ranting, raving, and reviewing. Here is your host, Lee.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lads Can Rant. As always, I am your wonderful host, Mr. Rant, and after some small technical issues, I think things are working out right now, which was a little bit weird, a little bit funny all at the same time. So, it's always fun trying out new gear or a new system with these things, but I don't know. Looks like we're good to go this time. So hopefully the episode's clear and the video is clear, and you're gonna have a really good time seeing this mug on your screen. And before the smaller technical issues that we had, I was gonna say, by all means, we've had such a packed few weeks, and this is the first time in a long time I feel like we're gonna cover the news. We're gonna get Big Mouth season 8 and so much more. Because the last few weeks have just been go, go, go. We've had Daredevil Born Again. We've had Andor. Right now, we've had Big Mouth Season 8. And we're still recording The Last of Us. Last of Us is coming at the moment. And then we're right on to, yes, thank you, my beautiful wife, who's come past on the Facebook chat saying, yay, you're back. Thank you very much. After the small tech issues, technology, just these things. Oh God, so much fun. But no, it's been fantastic. We've had Andy a couple of times on the podcast from the Galactical podcast, which has been great. But yeah, it's just been really intense. And as I said, after the Last of Us, then we've got straight into Ironheart, which we're going to get into the latest episode, and then we're going into the massive, big summer that is Superman, Fantastic Four, and Jurassic World Rebirth. And by all means, and all that, I'm also going to get ready for my European tour, because I'll be going to Europe in July. So there is so much happening over the next 2 months. So definitely hit that subscribe button and stay tuned, because we've got so much to cover. And one of the best news that I got in this past week is that it's a little bit of local news that we did get, is that, look, at the moment right now, if you live in Victoria and you live outside the city, if you want to go to an IMAX, you got to go drive to the city, which for me, it's about an hour drive. So, which is sometimes good, but traffic can be really bad, where sometimes I sit there and I'm like, God, I miss my COVID lockdown. I miss that so much, because of how much it was just a breeze to drive anywhere. But now it's just chockers and nobody knows how to drive. So that it kind of sucks when you try and go see an IMAX movie. But which is kind of nowhere is that a brand new IMAX will be opening about 15 minutes away from me. In a shopping center called Foundgate, if anyone who listens to the podcast locally, which is great, because now I'm going to go see a shit ton more IMAX movies now, because it's already going to be opening in November, which is great, which is fantastic. It's awesome the fact that it's so close, and it's going to be opening in November, which sadly is only 6 months away. And a big shout out to the Chef is Killer, which is Andy, for the Galactical podcast, which is a big shout out to this man, because as I mentioned, this guy's been basically on this podcast week after week after week after week after week after we've had so much to cover. And this man is taking a small little break, but in saying that, this man is going to be doing a fantastic job. He needs to take that time, but when he comes back, I can't wait to see what you're going to do, man. And you're going to come back in full force, and I know it's to take as much time as you need, and I look forward to when you're back. But yeah, so IMAX will be opening in November, so I will be going to a lot more IMAX movies, because, for example, like Mission Impossible, and with next year we've got Dune, Avengers, so much, which I'm also going to get learned to a little bit later as well, that we are going to see in IMAX, which is going to be fantastic, and I can't wait. So that's a little bit of local news, but going to the massive news. Now, as I said, Ironheart. Now, Ironheart, I forgot to mention this last week, is, we finally got the trailer for Ironheart. It's a little bit Ironheart, and it's only a month away now as we're recording this. So my big thing is for everybody's like, are you excited for Ironheart? Are you a little bit like, No, not really. Like, this can just pass straight over, which is totally fair, because if you miss Ironheart, then right after, I think it's first, we've got Marvel Zombies, which is the Emma rating. It's only 4 episodes that we're dropping, which is a spin-off from what I've really excited for. And then we got Eyes of Wakanda. So really excited for that as well. So that's going to be around the corner. But yeah, Ironheart, which has been developed, which has been shot since I think it was 2020. Actually, no, sorry, my apologies. Me and Andy were talking about this last week, because it was shot at the end of 2023, I think. So it's taken about 2.5 years for this to finally get to the small screen. So, it's not. So, but I will also side note, if I do sound a little bit incoherent or a little bit flustered, sorry. Sometimes these tech stuff gets to me, but we're going to keep the show going and we're going to keep running. So thanks for being with me. I appreciate that. But yes, Ironheart, which I've spoken to pretty much everyone everyone except for a couple of 2 people are really excited for this, because it's just one of those things where it should have come out 2 years ago. It should have come out with Wakanda Forever, a couple of months, 6 months after that. No, we're just going to be waiting. So yes, the last time we saw this character was Wakanda Forever, which was nearly 3 years ago. So what you can remember about that? Well, that movie's fantastic, but yeah, it's a little bit too far gone. Also, which I totally forgot this was in development, is the Voltron movie. Not only a Voltron movie that's coming to the big screen, live action Voltron movie with Henry Cavill. Now, we have no official release date, but it officially has wrapped up filming. So again, this will be another great movie to go see in IMAX. Most likely will be coming out next year, 2026, or maybe early 2027 if pushing it, depending on how it's all going. But yeah, we do have that to look forward to. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to look, the shape, the feel, especially with this being an iconic cartoon, and how it's going to, and yeah, story-wise. So hopefully with Henry Cavill being in the lead role, that's a good sign and to get excited about. So fingers crossed. But yes, the Voltron live action movie is officially done and officially ready to go. Now, this particular movie that's getting a prequel movie, which I think is completely unnecessary, is that apparently a Rambo prequel movie, which still Sylvester Stallone is not attached in any way possible, is currently in development, which is meant to look like maybe it's meant to go explore his exploits in Vietnam. I don't know why. I feel like this is a bit of a stretch, because like this would make more sense if Sylvester Stallone was in his younger days and they did this. And we did also kind of get a couple of things about his history. So why this needs to be done, especially when before Bruce Willis got sick, they were doing a prequel film for John McClane, which was again utterly useless. And I don't even know why they were going to do that, because I'm like, that's besides the point. The whole point was the fact he was an average cop, and then he went to became John McClane, who he became in the movies. Like, and Rambo, his story is about him coming home and everything that happens after that. So yeah, so that's currently happening. So whether or not we're gonna how far that's gonna see the light of day, especially about Sylvester Stallone. So, but yeah, let me know what you think. Like, yay, nay, or I really couldn't give a shit about a prequel movie of Rambo without Sylvester Stallone. Now, this particular movie, I feel, has been in absolute development hell, which is the BioShock movie. So Netflix bought the rights to the BioShock movie that was announced back in 2022. And the BioShock director has said apparently it's in a really good place at the moment, which is fantastic news, but I feel like it's just been so long, and it's been so long since the last BioShock. And like, yes, we've had the remasters, which is fantastic. But are you going to reach the point where this movie is going to become less and less relevant because we haven't had another Bioshock game. And there is apparently there is meant to be a Bioshock game in development, but that's a hit and miss if that's actually true or not, because we have not seen anything physical about it at this stage. But Bioshock is one of those movies that I'm very surprised. Bioshock is one of those stories, that I'm very surprised it got picked up by Netflix. This is something that should have got the Hollywood treatment, the big blockbuster, absolutely terrifying horror movie to see on the big screen. That's what we should have gotten. So it just kind of sucks the fact that I know Netflix makes great movies. Don't get me wrong, they do. But this is something that a Michael Bay, someone real, this project has so much lore, so much history to make a terrifying movie and bring it to the big screen. And especially right now, where 90% of movies going from video games to movies have been absolute winners, and TV shows. Last of Us, maybe not. The Chef Killer would rather they did a Mass Effect series rather than Bioshock. See, even Mass Effect, that's a great video game series that you could bring to the big screen. And when I say big screen, I don't want something like the Halo TV show where you get one really bad season and you get a good season and it's canceled. Again, Mass Effect has so much lore to it. That's another game you could really bring to the big screen. But Bioshock could seem to have more of a template of just a true horror, something frightening that you could really make to the big screen. The whole story is fantastic. But in saying that, it's under Netflix. And hopefully, when someone says it's in a good place, we actually gonna get the damn movie and actually get a bloody release date, because God, it feels like it's been ages. And one thing that we get another video game movie that we are getting is Gears of War is currently in development, which seems to be again in development hell. There's been rumors, there's been everything going about this game, but David Lynch, who directed Deadpool 2, is currently attached and looking to bring on the Gears of War movie to the big screen. It's currently in early development, so it's going to be, I'd say 2027, 2028, and we know that Dave Bautista has been highly pushing this to go to the big screen to see what this is like. So that's currently Gears of War. Again, is another fantastic story that I would love to see on the big screen, especially that big blockbuster element. But yes, you'd be very happy to know that's currently in development. Also, a complete resurgence in Star Wars Battlefront 2 Resurgence Day. So with Andor, Star Wars Battlefront has basically had a massive resurgence or reinvigoration, if you will, going into this game, which currently did pass its peak player count when it was at its high, with 14,966 or 69 players on Steam currently, and that's just on Steam. So it's funny when you see these going on. I am a Battlefront 2 god. Bring on Battlefront 3. Look, the Battlefront guys, there was a comment about the Battlefront dev said that don't hold your breath on seeing Battlefront 3, because Battlefront 2 it made up for everything what Battlefront 1 was meant to be. It made that all up, but then again, they still made mistakes that put players off. There was a massive progression system, and not to mention the biggest thing that was the biggest gripe to me was that Darth Vader was all the way up there on the price tag that you need to get. And you're like, yeah, that makes sense. Still annoying though. But then you had Rey as the same price. That was kind of, okay, that's bullshit. I'm like, that's kind of bullshit. The fact that's the same price. So I was like, I'm like, okay, that's a little bit annoying. And fans really, really preached about this game. But don't get me wrong. They heard the complaints. They fixed things. Right now, the game is right now what it should have been at release, which we have seen time and time again with like Cyberpunk or No Man's Sky, where it has a really rough start, and then the game comes basically 360, comes right back around and what it was meant to be. It's just a darn shame it's just taken this long. But yes, right now, and it's fantastic to see this game's getting the love it deserves, especially for all the people who worked on the game, did all the DLC, fixed everything, and you're finally seeing your labor of love come to life in the way it is, which is great. Fantastic, right? Yeah, I could not have predicted this game would have seen its resurgence, but that's damn right what Andor can do. Speaking of Star Wars, now some people might be happy about this, some people might not like it. But Ryan Reynolds has recently said in an interview that he did pitch to Disney and Star Wars to make an R-rated Star Wars film. Now, before everyone freaks out, he didn't mean him to be starring in this. He didn't mean to use the main characters. He basically wanted to be a producer, help write it, pick a point in the Star Wars universe, and do an R-rated film, and it would be pleasantly surprising. Especially coming off the back with Deadpool Wolverine, which was R-rated, and it did really well at the box office. So, obviously it did help when you have Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds promoting the film ridiculously what they did for that. But, almost Disney Star Wars could really use an R-rated film, and I think in the right setting, you could do that. But at the same time, people are going to be like, well, if we're going R-rated, they want to see lightsabers chopping off limbs. Zoop. And, well, I want to see lightsabers chopping off limbs with blood, not just, oh, look at that perfect cut and nothing. People want to see blood. People want to see all that. And I think it can be done right. It depends on which characters you use, who's on the big screen, which time period and everything. But I'm all for this. Bring me an R-rated Star Wars Disney film. Take my money. I just hope it'd be funny. So really good with Ryan Reynolds behind the scenes for this. Obviously on the big screen, but I'm all in for it. But would you want to see particular characters? Do you want to see Star Wars in R-rated? Which characters? Where would you put the perfect F word? And how would you want this to be shaped out? I'm curious. Now let's talk about let's talk about the biggest news of the past week, which is utterly gut-wrenching, but I understand at the same time. Sadly, we need to get ready for Doomsday, December 2026. That's right. Avengers Doomsday and Dune Messiah are going to go head-to-head at the box office next year. It's going to be the next Oppenheimer or Barbieheimer situation that we're going to be getting. It's going to be WB versus Disney, Marvel head-to-head. So, yes, we did get the really sad news, the fact that the Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars have been delayed, which really sucks. So, Avengers Doomsday has gone from May to December, and Avengers Secret Wars has gone from May to December 2027. So, the Christmas holidays is going to be jam-packed with this. It's going to be awesome. And look, the first thing I thought to myself was like, yes, it's shitty the fact Avengers Doomsday is leaving May, but at the same time is that we get GTA 6 in May, so I can't complain. I'm still happy we're getting one or the other. So, in saying that, is that Fantastic Four will be the last Marvel movie until Spider-Man: Brave New Day, which is coming out in July next year. So that's how it's going to go with Spider-Man: Brave New Day. Now, my question was, will it stuff up the timeline? And we'll have to do reshoots because Avengers Doomsday was meant to be before, and of course we know why at this stage the rumor is that Tom Holland's Spider-Man is not in Avengers Doomsday, but he will be in Secret Wars. He has to be in Secret Wars. He has to. But he wasn't going to be in this film. So I wonder if this does work out. But maybe they just thought in the end, like, it will suit better the fact if we just push it back. With Sony and with Spider-Man, it's going to work out a lot better. That way they can have Spider-Man in Avengers Doomsday, which means reshoots, rewrites, and reworks. Which again, I always like to remind people is that reshoots aren't always a bad thing, especially if something doesn't work or a character gets sick. An actor gets sick or something's going to be changed. It's never a bad thing. It does suck the fact that it's been delayed, but again, it's going to be which is going to be the better film. When I already know, and I'm going to tell you the future right now. Avengers Doomsday is going to be 110 times better than Dune by all the way. And we all know it's going to make a shit ton of money more without even trying. I respect the Dune fans, but at the same time, we're talking about Avengers Doomsday right here. We're talking about Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. We're talking about the Fantastic Four. Yeah, unfortunately, Dune, you are probably going to be swept away into a corner, swollen up by the sandworms, and off into the sunset. Which I know some people won't like that, but yes, that is what's going to happen with that. But again, delays. These can happen. Delays are a little bit less 4 years later, but Avengers Doomsday. Now I'm going to really just do a real quick about this, because I feel like this needs to be documented well in advance for a film. For a film that was Chef Killer. It's the strangest decision to have a rival Dune Messiah shaping up to be one of the biggest sci-fi trilogies as well. It is. I think they're just where the spot they're going to put it. It's just going to go head to head. Especially, it could have released any other time of the year and have a clean sweep. It could have. But at the same time, as we do know, when there are movies that do go head to head, like Oppenheimer, Barbie, it can make a lot of money for the box office of movies, and it can really work out. So here we go. Here you go. No. Where are we going to this? Trying to find. Here we go. Okay, yeah, here we go. So let's pull back the clocks. Let's pull the clocks all the way back to 2022. So Avengers Kang Dynasty. This film was announced and it was meant to come out in May 2025. All right, speed up the clock and everything they had with Jonathan Majors. It got delayed to May. It got delayed to 2020. It got delayed to May 2026 with the title change of Avengers Doomsday. And now it's also not coming out to December 2026. So it's been going to be delayed a year and a half, and a name change, and probably a script change either halfway through or all together, because we always knew that Dr. Doom was going to be in these films. But yeah, that's just insane. Like, I'm looking at it right. That's what I was trying to find out. The fact that, god damn, it's been so long. Like, yeah, as a reading during the presentation in 2022, Kevin Feige announced Marvel Avengers Kang Dynasty May 2nd. Oh, god damn. And how the logos have changed as well. And it's just been delay. Wow. And and like, I know a lot of people are like, oh my god, these delays mean things are going horrible. It doesn't mean things are going horrible. It just means the fact they need more time or something's delayed. They only just started shooting this. They only started shooting Doomsday, and it was meant to come out less than 1 year. That was not even enough time to do all the editing and to do everything. Just a real quick note for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars is that both films are being produced at Pinewood Studios, England. Filming for Doomsday is taking place probably 6 months for its April release. That's right, going. Oh, yeah, awesome. Alan Sylvester's story is also composing the music score for both of them, so he is coming back. Yes, it's great. I've seen those comments, Chef. GTA 6 before we get Doomsday. Bingo. Yep. So that's actually right. It's a good point. So Avengers Doomsday, Avengers King Dynasty, if you will, was announced before we get the release date or the announcement for GTA 6, and it's going to come before both of them. God damn, that's a really good point. Jesus, yeah. Wow, can't believe that. But at least Alan's come back for this film. God damn, it's hard to believe how long this film's just been flying around, and the fact that this is the 31st and the 40th. Yeah, at the moment, it's the 39th and 41st film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I wonder where. Oh, it's not there. God. It's probably a good question to have a look at this. As I'm saying this, for everyone who wants to know, here we go, bingo. So just for everyone in the back, currently right now, before these films have come out, has Marvel Cinematic Universe franchise has earned over $31 billion at the global box office, making it the highest grossing film franchise in history. The figure confirms the 35 movies in the MCU. The highest grossing, of course, is Avengers Endgame, which is $2.8 billion. God damn, that's a lot of money. Nothing will ever top it. Nothing will. So to put in comparison altogether, so if you add up all the budgets of all the movies of all 36 films, they really work out to be roughly about $7.5 billion. So they've definitely made their money back on that. But god damn, it's a lump. And nothing will ever top it. Nothing will ever top it, and it's just going to keep on going for all us fans going to. But it does really suck about Avengers Doomsday. But don't worry. You mean the DCU or Rebel Moon? Oh, they're both horrible. I think the DCU didn't even come close, and the Rebel Moon is currently no. Sorry, when I say no franchise, I mean no. Yeah, actually, no film franchise will be able to top the Marvel Cinematic Universe to get at the global box office because that is 36 films. I think the only thing that comes close is James Bond, but that's not even that. So actually, no, I lie. Sorry. Marvel Cinematic Universe, 36 films. Number 2 is Spider-Man, but let's take that out. Next is Star Wars. Star Wars has had 12 films and has currently created $10 billion at the box office. Holy shit. That can't be right. So, if I'm reading this correctly, Star Wars, 12 films, $10 billion at the box office. The Wizarding World, Harry Potter's, all the Harry Potters, and Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them has had $9.5 billion at the box office. Wow. That's, sorry, going back to my original point. Yeah, James Bond, 27 films, $7 billion at the box office. Yeah, so closest film wise is James Bond. The next that comes close to that is Batman with 18. After that is the DC Cinematic Universe. After that is 15. X-Men is 14. And Spider-Man's 16. It would be 2. That's how much it is. But yeah, I would really not have guessed that Star Wars and Harry Potter, the global box office of their entire franchise, is that close. Not to mention there are only 10 to 12 films of difference. What? It's weird. Sure. Well, actually, it is true. Harry Potter 8, Fantastic Beasts 3, Secret Truth. Oh, actually, yeah, shit, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a really good point. Huh. Yeah, the more you know. We'd have never guessed that at all. But yeah, Star Wars is just beating Harry Potter, which which will continue to go because we've got plenty more Star Wars films coming, but we don't have any more Harry Potter films coming at this stage because they're going to Harry Potter TV show, which is to drop on HBO Max next year. But learn something new every day. Every day. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the biggest news that has happened in the past week. We're going to do a quick review of Big Mouth Season 8. Now, this is the last season in the longest running Netflix TV show, Big Mouth. Now, it's been on a 2-year hiatus since Season 7, which initially, when I found out the fact it was delayed 2 years later, I was like, oh, that's a bit gut-wrenching, especially the fact that the fact that we knew this was going to be the last season moving forward, and we knew this was going to be. Now, Big Mouth is that type of TV show that is for very selected audiences, especially the humor, how crude it is, how vulgar it is. It's not for everyone, and that's why I tell everybody. And not to mention, it's also got its own spin-off. It's also had Valentine's Day specials. All the constant IMDb reviews for it is all very positive, and that's one of the things that this show does very well. That yes, it's vulgar, yes, it can make you gross, but when it does tackle particular themes like anxiety, depression, compassion, what it does feel like to go through puberty, how it does, all those nagging thoughts in your head, love, all of that. Weird consent, videos. It does tackle all those topics really well, and it's one of the biggest highlights of the show, and that continues on for season 8. Season 8 is 10 episodes long, and basically it wraps up these characters' journey as they go about starting high school and starting next journey of their lives. We have grown up with these characters since it initially started in 2017, which is wild and insane to me to think about the fact that we've been watching this show for this long. Because I remember when I first saw the post for it, I was a bit like, all right, I'm curious, but at the same time, like, what is this about? And is probably only going to last. Now, my initial thought was like, it's probably only going to last a couple of seasons, but no, it lasted 8. And it's one of the best things that Netflix have brought out of their own shows, especially animation-wise, between this and BoJack Horseman, which even BoJack Horseman wasn't big for everybody, but again, that was another show that I watched the first couple of episodes and I just kept going through it. And I was like, wow, this is actually really deep. Again, really goes on about depression, life, what you're meant to do, what you're holding out for, all that fun stuff. And yeah, this TV show I found hilarious. It hit my humor like a T. I found it so funny. And it was interesting to see what these characters go through. A school camp, going through school, graduating school, high school, and what's the future going to bring? Going to be really worried out, family. And, everyone in this last season gets their moment to shine. All the characters we finally see Nick finally grow up. We finally see Andrew accept for him for Missy gets her moments. Maury even gets his moment of the fact that he needs to realize that when the kids are done with puberty, he has to leave them. So you feel him for that, and that all these relationships all start coming to an end. And probably one of the best things about I love this season is that it really, which we're going to have spoilers. The last episode just shows you this massive void, and it's meant to act like the unknown. And they're all looking at it going, what is this? And at moments they get scared of it, like what's going to happen? Where's this taking us? And of course, we get the beautiful moment of where they all go together and go into this blue void of, let's go bring on what the future's meant to bring on with us. And we see all the monsters basically waving goodbye. And in this season, with their spin-off Human Resources, majority of all those characters do make an appearance in this show. Again, to show them their world, and again, they're watching these kids all the way through. There's musical numbers in this that do hit. There's actually one particular music number which I thought was fantastic. and basically it's okay to be normal, and what what your preferences are, what you watch or what you're into, it's all normal, which I think is a fantastic little thing for everyone to and it's a really great message. And that's, yes, this show is a little bit messed up, but at the same time it has that great message on that what you do, what you like. It doesn't get your freak flag on, which if of course that is actually a moment for it is a character at one point, which is so funny. And of course, Coach Steve comes back, and but majority of all the moms, everyone comes back for this last season, all the recurring characters. It's really great to see. But the freak flag one I was like, what the fuck? Oh, this is like, god damn. But no, and I watched this all, and it got me really kind of sad. Not to mention, there's one episode that basically what they do is they read out questions from Instagram and that people wrote to them, which is a little cutaway game they do for everybody, which was again fantastic for everyone asking questions on what this does or what that is, or should I get this checked? What happens when you go through puberty and why you smell and all this. They cover all of that to get ready. And sometimes when a show ends, you look and go, oh, I wish I got one more season, or I wish I got one more of that. What's going to happen next? Or no, they wrap this up in a way that it's just like, yep, this character's going to move on. They're going to go to high school and go to the next slot. Now, like, you can't have another season. The only way Big Mouth could come back is if there would have to be a new bunch of kids. But there's no point. Like, all the characters' relationship we got with this were fantastic. And I don't think Nick Kroll wants to do another season. I think they're all happy how this wrapped up. And, the characters that are in this show all have their special moments and all their special scenes to remind who stands out and who, we have to say goodbye to. So this show does it fantastically. And it's really great to see all come to an end. Everyone who's in love, everyone who's not. But watching it, sometimes you look at a show and you're like, oh no, they didn't really resolve this, or they really didn't resolve that. No, they all pretty much everyone has their moment. Everyone gets a nice little wrap up moving forward. So I think, yes, it is shitty that we had to wait 2 years, but I feel like they've done that fantastically to give these characters their moment to shine. Everyone gets their moment to say goodbye, and onward and onward, basically. But I would love to know, did you like the show? Was it a bit too much for you? Was it vulgar? Was it really about say goodbye to Maury and the hormone monster and all that? But don't you worry, Netflix, we've got all 8 seasons of specials and the 2 spin-offs. But I highly rate this show, and my biggest thing on my end is that the fact that they really do, yes, they joke about everything, but it really does send a good message on how you can affect with anxiety, how depression feels, how do you handle depression when you get angry, love, jealousy, what all these feelings that you do feel, and how do you deal with them. That show is where this shines, and it really shines and shows you what everyone goes through. And you do have moments in the show where you're like, oh, I remember that, oh, I felt like that, oh, I feel like that now sometimes. I meant the anxiety, depression, not the other stuff, not like puberty. So but I'd love to know what would you feel like was a big takeaway from it? Did it make you laugh? Did it make it reminisce and go, oh, I'm so glad high school is so far in my revision mirror? I don't know what it is, but yeah, let me know your thoughts. And look, thank you so much for coming past this episode. I'm also sorry about all the tech issues. I appreciate you for staying on for this long. But as I said, we've got a few premieres coming up this week. We've got big reviews coming. And if you haven't already, we've had a really big week this week between Andor, Hurry Up Tomorrow, which was god awful. And we've also got into Beating Hearts and Bonjour Azura. It's fantastic. So feel free to go check those out. And as always, until next time, happy ranting.
Thanks for listening to Light, Camera, Rant. If you like the show, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. While you're at it, leave us a rating and review, and be sure to tell your friends.